Tonight on Another Thing About Tartan, we welcome Joelle Murray. Joelle is the captain of the Hibernian women's team and is actually the first woman to be signed professionally on a part-time contract. Joelle also works alongside the Hibernian Community Foundation as the Academy Manager of the girls' team. Tonight we're really looking forward to hearing Joelle's Scottish football story. So Joelle, thank you so much for joining me. Can you start by telling us how you first got introduced to football?
Yeah, it was a good few years ago now. My dad was a massive football fan. He played when he was younger. He played at border amateur level, so he played for the local team, Churnside. He then went on to management, and I think it stemmed from there. To be honest, I was always wanting to go along to his training sessions when he was a player and when he was a manager, and probably from as early an age as five, my passion for football started. So
Mhm.
yeah, I just wanted to be in a football environment all the time, whether it was watching, playing, or anything else. So yeah, probably from the age of five, I started kind of watching, playing, and having the passion and enthusiasm and excitement for football.
Mhm. Well, that's really cool. And I can see that you've been playing for the club for Hibs since 2004. So that must be an amazing feeling to have played for the team for such a long time. Can you tell us what has been the highlight of your career with Hibs so far?
Um, there's been so many highlights for me, as you mentioned there. I've been at the club for a number of years now, so to probably pinpoint one would be very difficult. However, the few that I can mention, playing alongside players like Kim Little, who's now playing a trade down at Arsenal, captain of the national team, um, winning Scottish Cups, namely so the one in 2016. It was the first kind of cup win on the back of a period of time whereby Glasgow City had retained and held all cups. So to win the Scottish Cup in 2016 was pretty special, and of course it tied in with the men's team winning it for the first time in 114 years. So
Yeah.
that year was certainly special for the club and for me as a fan as well. So
Mhm.
yeah, there's been a lot of memories for me, a lot of ups and downs, but of course that's football. So yeah, probably the Scottish Cup win in 2016 and kind of sharing my journey alongside players that are now kind of playing their trade down south or abroad, are highlights of mine.
Mhm. And at the beginning of 2020, you were signed as the first female professional Hibernian player. So, how did this feel?
It was a very proud moment for me. For me, when I was younger, playing playing for Hibs, captain Hibs, never mind signing a part-time professional contract for Hibs, was something that I probably only dreamed of and didn't think was something that would kind of be fulfilled or come true. So
Mhm.
it was a hugely momentous occasion for the club. I think it shows positive steps going forward and the development and the support. So to be the first player to sign that contract was certainly a proud moment for me.
Yeah, definitely, I can imagine. And it sounds like you're never far away from a football pitch, as you also have your hands full as the Girls Academy Manager with the Hibernian Community Foundation. So, can you tell us what is involved in this role?
Yeah, of course. So we've got an extensive pathway within the Girls Academy. So our squad range from under 11s through under 13s, 15s, 17s, and 19s. So as you can imagine, there are about 120, 130 players to manage within that structure. Um, Along with players, you've got parents, and then you've also got coaches. So it's not so much a hands-on as such in terms of delivery at training, but it's more so facilitating, making sure the players have all the resources that they need to perform at their best, making sure that the I'm asking coaches to challenge players, but also I need to challenge my coaches. So making sure that the coaches have all the resources and tools that they require to kind of fulfill these players' development. So yeah, it is a kind of wide variety of entities. However, I think I can draw upon my experiences as a player, in situations whereby when we're talking about player development and one-to-one plans, I think I'm in a good place to know what the modern day player needs and wants to be able to perform. So yeah, the skill set is quite varied, but certainly it's football, and working in football, I feel very privileged to do so, and I feel quite cheeky going into work every day calling it work, because we're based at the stadium at Easter Road. So being based there, yeah, I certainly do feel like it's quite cheeky calling it work, because I have a massive passion for it, and it's something that I love. So I never get tired of it.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice. And have you been involved in any other projects with the foundation?
Yeah, so the foundation, obviously, it's not just football. We work with local authorities, local communities. So at the moment, we're doing a lot of kind of food bank drops. So played a small part in that, and if I can help in any way possible with any other projects ongoing, then I'm certainly keen to do so, because I believe that a football club isn't just about football. It's about that community and what that community can offer. So yeah, although it's primarily football based, there are a lot of things ongoing at the moment. And if it's something that I can get involved in, or if there's something I have knowledge or expertise in, I'm certainly happy to help out.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow, it does sound really amazing that like a lot of people will think it is just football, but it is so much more than that, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. There's a phrase, football's more than a game, and I think you forget that, as I say, a football club isn't just about what's happening on the pitch on a match day. There's so many different things ongoing, and my eyes probably weren't open to that until I was employed by the foundation, because prior to that, I thought it was a game day and 3 points on a match day was the most important thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think a football club offers so much more than football.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And you've been playing football for most of your life. So, can you tell us what it takes to become a professional football player and to play for your dream football team?
Yeah, for me, people talk about sacrifices, sacrificing going out on a Friday night, going out on a Saturday night, because of course you've got training and you've got games. But for me, it's not a sacrifice, because football's what I love to do, and my passion. So football's gave me so many opportunities, gave me so many positive experiences. So for me, certainly that's not a sacrifice. I've met so many different people throughout football, either playing with them, playing alongside them, playing against them, working with them in various capacities. So yeah, I feel very fortunate to have kind of played for so long, and done the things that I've done. I mean, I've travelled the world and been to places that I would never have dreamt of going. So for me, feel so fortunate to be in the position that I'm in. So as I say, a sacrifice isn't a word I would use. I would certainly say hard work, dedication, is required, especially to kind of play at the top level. But yeah, I think as long as you're enjoying doing what you're doing, then that's the main thing, and everything else kind of comes hand in hand and falls into place.
Yeah, definitely. And did you have any players that you looked up to and inspired you when you were growing up?
Yeah, when I was younger, I think as all kind of female players my age at that time, because women's football wasn't as prevalent, it was always, and quite rightly so, because what a fantastic player she was. But it was always Julie Fleeting. She was a pioneer for the women's game. She was the national team captain. She plied her trade in the US, down south with Arsenal. So when I was growing up, Julie was certainly the player that I looked up to and aspired to, and I had the privilege of playing alongside her at national team level. So it kind of went full circle for me.
Yeah. Oh wow, that must have been a really amazing moment then.
Yeah, it definitely was, and again, it allowed me to see a side of Julie that I didn't see from being that kind of fan and looking at her as a role model. I saw that side of her as a teammate, and yeah, it was certainly something that a positive experience that I always look upon and draw upon.
Yeah. And you've also represented your country playing football many times in the past as well. So can you tell us how that felt, and do you have any standout moments from these games?
Again, a sense of pride. I mean, when I was younger, I certainly didn't think I would ever represent my country. So to do so 48 times to today is something that I'm extremely proud of. And again, on that platform, you're meeting different players. So yeah, playing for my country is certainly a very proud moment, not only for me but my family. And every time I'm selected for squads, and every time I pull on the jersey, it's something that I cherish, because I appreciate that football has a short lifespan. So when
Mhm.
I'm doing these things, and being selected for squads, it's something that I take very seriously, and I'm very proud of and I cherish, because that could be your last time. So it's embracing that moment and making sure you're making the best of it. Um, Talking about highlights, um, probably every one of those 48 caps, but I think qualification for the European Championships in 2017, and then on the back of that, probably qualification for the World Cup was certainly two moments that I will look fondly on in years to come.
Yeah, yeah, that definitely would have been really incredible to be a part of.
Mm.
So in Scotland, the women's team have qualified for many more major tournaments than the men's team in recent years. So how does this make you feel as a Scottish female player? And do you feel that the women's team is more respected in Scotland because of this?
Um, I think a lot of people try and compare the two and play the women's team off the men's team, and I think when the men's team aren't doing so well and aren't being very successful or winning, they'll always draw that comparison. And for me, it's not about the women's national team and the men's national team. I think it needs to be a national team as a whole. So um, for me, I think it's important that we qualify and continue to qualify. Um, but certainly, I think Shelley spoke about it and Steve Clark spoke about it in the past, that the men look to the women's team as inspiration. Likewise, the women do to the men. So I don't think it should be the two entities. I think it should be the one kind of entity as a whole, working together and drawing inspiration from each other.
Yeah, yeah, working together as a team to both succeed rather than, oh, this team is doing better than this team.
Yeah, of course, of course.
And how did you celebrate last week when the men's team qualified for the European Championship for the first time in 22 years?
Um, Probably, other than kind of jumping off the couch when Ryan Christie scored, watching the penalties through my fingertips. Yeah, I think for me it was so emotional. When David Marshall saved that penalty, the fifth penalty at the end, it was a historical moment, and for me it was so surreal. It was so emotional. So there was no celebrations as such, other than kind of a celebratory jump off the couch and scream and shout in the living room. But yeah, what an achievement from the team, and delighted that they've been able to kind of get get there and get over the line, because as you know, in the past, for so long, it's always been we've nearly made it and we've always kind of fell at the last hurdle. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was an incredible moment, and I'm sure everyone, the whole nation, needed that lift.
yeah, no, definitely. It was really, really amazing. And with both Hibs, the Hibs team and the Scotland team, do the men and women ever train or travel together?
No, we've never done so. Actually, from a kind of domestic and national perspective, we at national team probably we've come into kind of, if we've came off the pitch, then maybe the national team, the men's national teams came on after us, but we certainly wouldn't train or travel together. There is that kind of close knit bond. We've had a few times whereby players from the men's national teams come into the women's camp and spoke, namely so Andy Robertson, which was great of him to do so. And equally so at Hibs, before obviously coronavirus, we train at the same venue. So there was times whereby I would maybe be in the gym training, and then the men would come in and do their bits. So yeah, there would be that crossover, but not kind of a structured training or travel arrangement.
Yeah. And so moving on from football, sort of, you're actually a member of Clan Murray. So have you ever met any fellow members of Clan Murray when you've been travelling around the world playing football?
Um, Not really. I mean, there is a few Murrays. Christy Murray plays national team. She plays down south for Birmingham. There was a player that used to play for Glasgow City, Joelle Murray. So yeah, other than that, bumped into a few Murrays. Judy Murray.
Oh,
Always get that comparison and things like that. So yeah, bumped into a few throughout playing football, traveling with football, being in football. So yeah, there are a few good Murrays out there.
yeah. And you grew up in Chirnside, which is a little village in the Scottish borders, not far from Scotland's Shop HQ. So, did you celebrate your Scottish heritage when you were growing up, and if so, how?
For me, I've always been proud to be Scottish, and I look back upon my childhood and growing up in Churnside with fond memories, and I think it probably stood me in good stead for life and the years to come. I mean, I don't know if it's celebrating Scottish heritage, but we would always be a nuisance in the village. We would be out in the fields, on hay bales. I mean, the farmers probably hated us because of of what we would get up to. So I don't know if that's celebrating Scottish heritage, but I certainly am proud to be Scottish and proud to have kind of grown up and come from a village like Turnside, because I think it gave me good foundations to kind of grow up on, and stood me in good stead for life and these years to come.
Yeah, definitely. And finally, we ask everyone this question: what is your favourite tartan?
I think it's evident that it is the Murray tartan. And I'm not just saying that. I think for me it's a classy tartan.
Yeah,
You've got the dark green in there, the blues and the black. So yeah, not only does it look good, I think it shows a bit of class. So yeah, that'd be my tartan of choice.
yeah, well, that's good as well that that's your family tartan as well. So thank you so much for joining me today, Joelle, and sharing your insights and stories into the football world. I wish you a safe next 2 months and look forward to seeing what you achieve in 2021.
Thanks so much. Appreciate you having me. Really enjoyed it.